Howdy, y'all. Now, before we start talking about Proposition 83, I feel like I need to tell you a story. About a couple of weeks ago, I read about, well, here's the story. So, a little boy was getting abused, and it was so bad that he went into foster care, and a woman took in the foster boy and just thought he was the sweetest little boy she ever met. And so, after about a year, she went ahead and adopted him. Now, problem was that the adoption people and the foster people never bothered telling her that the poor boy had been abused, and that's why he was in the care. So, a few years down the road, the boy ends up sexually assaulting a couple of kids, and whenever they took him to the psychologist to talk and figure out what was mentally going on, the psychologist said this kid is going to be a sexual predator. So suddenly the woman finds out that the kid had been abused, and then she finds out that he's been classified as a sexual predator by the state, and so now she can't have her grandkids around, and she has to be responsible for knowing what's he doing and where he's at all the time. So, the end of the story, as it stands now, is that she's trying to unadopt him, and everybody's very unhappy. Now, the reason why this relates to Proposition 83 is because this proposition addresses several concerns, but not all, and it also ends up possibly defeating what it's trying to do. Now, what I'm trying to say is that here you got a proposition with some good ideas. We want to track people, figure out where they're at, and if anything happens, know who was in the vicinity and check it out. But the problem is first of all, they don't provide any money. They say, well, we're going to collect these funds from the folks that are sexually violent predators. But if you look at it, most of the sexually violent predators are defended by the public defender's office, which means that they don't have any money. They wouldn't be able to pay for the GPS monitoring even if you beat it out of them. The other problem is that it does nothing to address what makes sexual predators in the first place, which is getting involved sooner whenever a child's being abused. Now, our foster care system is just screwed up in kablooey, which this does nothing to address the fact that you can still make sexual predators, and there's something that you can do to prevent that from happening. So, it does a number of good things, like it increases the qualifications to be a sexually violent predator, tries to GPS monitor everybody, and then takes care of reporting requirements, and it includes juvenile offenses in determining whether or not somebody's a sexually violent predator, which I think are all good things. But the problem is that if you do a quick search on the internet, you can find out that there are